Imagine a little girl. Growing up, she's happy to eat porridge for every meal. Why? Because if there isn't porridge that day, that means she goes hungry. She digs through trash to try to find fruit and forage for weeds to fuel her stomach. She walks a long way to drink water, even if it's contaminated. Lacking paper, at school, she'll have to write on the dirt. I will leave it to your imagination as why there's a pile of rocks next to the village toilet. But you know, she appreciates simply being alive, a luxury that her younger brother did not get to enjoy. What do you say to a little girl like this? That she should try to be positive? Her future is almost certainly that of a subsistence farmer. That little girl was my mom. That village was her home. My grandma, who grew up in even worse conditions, saw no hope for her daughter if she remained in the village. So the whole family worked extremely hard to earn some actual bucks and some actual points. In 1981, my mom got accepted to the best middle school in the county. So the whole family moved. 4 people, 2 chickens, 1 bike. In case you didn't get that, picture 4 people sitting on a single bike and holding 2 chickens. They moved from a small village to a slightly bigger one in Shanxi, China. Some things did get better. My grandpa found a new job in a paper mill, so there was no longer a pile of rocks next to the village toilet. However, as the toilet remained 2 wooden planks over a large hole, the balancing act while using bathroom remained a crucial skill. It hit my grandma at one point that some things would just not get any better there. So she told my mom, "Leave, go to Beijing, find another home." With these simple words, my mom decided on her future. It's actually funny because they had never even been to Beijing, but somehow they knew that would be a place where they could change their lives. At least, it wouldn't be worse. Later, my mom became the first college graduate in her family. She left everything she was familiar with, got on a 24-hour train, and guess what she did? Sat in the train bathroom. Why? Not because that's significantly better than any bathroom she had ever used. Actually, maybe. It's actually because she could not afford to buy a seat ticket, and that's the only place where you can be and not be constantly pushed. Finding a new home is hard. Not only the living part, but also the arriving part. My mom was a so-called outsider at her college. Different accent, different habits. It was challenging, but she made it. Eventually, she settled down in Beijing, had a job, had a family, and most importantly, had me. You know, sometimes I cannot help but imagine if she remained in the village, instead of becoming a CEO of an engineering firm, the only expertise she could possibly develop is about the various methods of growing corns. Ladies and gentlemen, her relocation is also why I have a chance to speak with you all today. My mom not only found herself a new home, but also gave me a chance to find mine. Her story taught me a simple lesson. That is, you have the right to decide where you want your home to be. It does not need to be where you were born. Now, what if I tell you There are millions of people in China like my mom who wanted to find themselves new homes but failed to, including my uncle. Our government created an internal passport system that makes free migration throughout the country extremely challenging. We are told it will better promote social stability, allocate resources, and provide citizens with safety. And I don't need to look far to see how that actually impacts people's lives. My cousin, who has the same dreams, talents, and ambitions as I do, has to stay in the same town, facing much more challenges with much fewer opportunities. And this gap between us exists in every single aspect of our lives. From welfare services to healthcare, from education to employment. Isn't that ridiculous? That those barriers not only exist, but they're artificially designed, enforced, and justified? It must seem so alien to you guys. Imagine where being Iowa means you can never move to New York. But interestingly enough, most people find the same idea in a slightly different context be completely reasonable. That is, our current immigration system. The barrier we created intentionally to prevent free migration in the world. We're so used to this division between countries that we don't even think of it. We don't even think of it as anything wrong because we think it's natural. We tell immigrants to go back to your homes as if home are where they were born, what their passport says, as if homes are kind of some immutable characteristics determined at birth, as if home can never change. But I ask, why? You should be able to. Now, some of you might think, she's crazy. How can finding a new home in a different city be the same as finding a new home in a different country? One of my goals today is to challenge you all to see the similarity between these two. It's a matter of luck where you were born. The country is a lottery. The city is a lottery. The country has even more power to determine your life. If you believe that the quality of your whole life should not be determined by some random lottery drawn at birth, you should be very cautious about any system that enforces this idea, such as our current immigration system. I want to take this time to remind you guys the arbitrariness of the division between nations. When we categorize the people with the same nationality as us, as our people, and categorize people who happen to be born on the other side of political boundaries, those people, we're crossing a very dangerous line. We need to remember, if tiny things change in the history, those people might as well become our people. Some of you might think, okay, but can we just put morality aside for a second and think about all the jobs and the welfare services immigrants will take away from us? They think when immigrants come in to seek homes, they only diminish our homes. Many people believe when immigrants come in, they only receive help from us if the idea of us even exists in the first place. However, what they overlook is that when immigrants come in, they can also create homes. And they are not the only ones who receive help from us. We only receive help from immigrants. Just look at the level of entrepreneurship in the United States and guess how many great startups are started by immigrants who are not born here. Let me tell you, over 50%. Over 50% of top billion-dollar startups in the United States are either founded or co-founded by immigrants who are not born here. And then the Fortune 500 companies created by them alone employ more than 3.6 million people, a figure equivalent to the population of Connecticut. Furthermore, we should really look at the long-term impact of immigration. Not just how much the first generation of immigrants can bring, but also how much their kids and their grandkids can create. I will tell you guys 3 quick stories. In the late 1970s and early 1980s, 3 families came to the United States. Here we have this first family. We have this kid coming from Paris with his Iranian-born parents. And later when he grew up, he created an auction website that allowed direct person-to-person transaction. That is the origin of eBay. Here we have the second family. They were both from then the Soviet Union, and later when their kid grew up, he went to Stanford, and at there, he and his friend created a web search engine. That is the origin of Google. And that is also the origin of my procrastination. Here, we have this third family, a Korean couple. They came to the United States, and 3 years later, they started a clothing store in California. That is the origin of Forever 21, and also probably half of my clothes. If that does not impress you, okay, think about Chinese takeout, sushi, and tacos. See how we're benefited from immigration happened 30 and 40 years ago. And what immigrants have been able to achieve in the United States should have shown the world a long time ago how beneficial it can be if we open up and let different people a chance to contribute. If we want the next generation to enjoy vibrant technology, science, products, culture, and of course, even better food, we should really open up. And then America should keep doing what it has been so good at, becoming the home for the dreamers. You ask me, is immigration an easy answer for all the problems we have? No. Does it come with social, economic, and political challenges? Yes, it does, a lot of them. Will some people's interests or feelings be hurt during the process? Unfortunately, yes. But should we still do it? I believe so. Not only because everyone deserves a second chance to choose their homes, but also I believe in the long run, we, not just American, not just Chinese, but humanity as a whole will be better off. I hope in the future, we can agree that home should not be a matter of lottery, but rather the community that helps us become the person we want to be. Thank you.